Good morning. How you doing? I have got a phrase for you today that will hopefully give you some motivation, a sense of, I'm building this phrase up, aren't I? Morning. I hope this phrase will give you some grounding. Morning. It's not my phrase. It is from this man called Andrew Jarvis. Google him. Good morning. Google Andrew Jarvis because, all right, let's paint the picture of him. He's an actor and he's got like a brilliant, glow in the dark white beard. You can't see this from the pictures, but I can describe him. He looks like he's been dressed by Kate Moss a bit, or he looks like he's just got off the tour bus with the Rolling Stones. He's got some cowboy boots. He's got quite an interesting belt. I haven't seen him for years, but basically he was an acting teacher of mine, and he had a very deep voice, and it was a breath of fresh air, because when I was at drama school, there was a lot of, darling, you're fat. What are you doing? Stop. A lot of that, a lot of drama, a lot of mental health was not at the forefront of many people's minds. Morning. Anyway, Andrew Jarvis came into our lives. Good morning. And Andrew Jarvis came in with his grubby old jacket, and it wasn't grubby, but he came with so much character. And one of the best things that he ever said, and we still quote it today, is whack it in the frame. Whack it in the frame. What does this mean? Well, in terms of an acting situation, it means you all go through the rehearsal stage, don't you? Where you're like, right, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. And you know there's going to be that point where it's like, right, showtime. Okay, let's do this. This might be the case for your business, where you're like, I've been working on this thing behind the scenes and I know I've got to launch it, and I've said I'm going to do it on this day, and this is going to happen. Morning if you're joining. This will all be saved so you can go back whenever you need it. It's that moment where you're like, I've got to launch, I've got to do the thing, I've got to flip my sign round on my website and tell people that I'm available to buy. And what happens in that process up until that point is that sometimes you can get to that stage where you know you've got to launch, but then you start faffing. Then you're like, maybe I should try this, or maybe I should add this, or maybe I should take this away. And that's what happens sometimes in show weeks, is that sometimes people suddenly go, do you know what? I'm going to rewrite those lyrics, or I'm going to do something weird and startle the other actors. So they go, what are they doing? Why are they doing that? What's happening? And that can happen up in the build-up. Also, what then happens on the flip side of that is sometimes people start over-delivering, of going, right, the course is now ready, but maybe I should give a week of my time with every single person who purchased this thing. Or sometimes people go, right, well, we're nearly at show point. This is in terms of an acting point of view. Maybe I'll write my novel this week as well, this novel that's been sitting on my computer. Maybe I'll do that as well because, I can do that. And Andrew's phrase of whack it in the frame, it helps me so much, because sometimes you just need to whack the thing in the frame and the stuff will happen later, the tweaks. So the number of times as an actor where the first night you feel like you've been on, when you go on a fairground ride and you look at it from a distance and you go, that looks tame, that looks all right, that looks fine. And you get on it and you're like, morning. And you're like, that was horrific. I thought I was going to die. There's a one actually on Brighton Pier. I think it's called the Cat and Mouse. I've no idea if it's still there. That looks really tame. And I literally thought I was going to drown and I was going to die that day. And I've had some first nights like that, or I've had some launches like that, or I've put something out and it just feels so exposing. It feels like you're scrambling around and you're trying to figure it out. And at the end of it, you have that deep breath of like, all right, I did it. It's live. Now what? where do we go from there? But until you make that decision to whack it in the frame, as Mr. Jarvis would say, you're not going to feel those feels. You're not going to see what works. And I found that with first night sometimes as an actor, where in rehearsals you're like, that joke is so funny. Oh, people are going to love that joke. You say the joke, nothing. Nobody says anything. You're like, okay, that joke is not funny. We need to think about how we're going to work that. We're going to have to make some moves in that way. So my task for you today, I guess, which is linked to what I was saying last night, is what are you celebrating on Friday? What are you celebrating on Friday? And again, in these crazy current times where madness is happening, this is not about going for an Olympic world record or a Nobel Peace Prize. This can be you on your terms. What do you want to have to tick off the list? What is that thing that's been hanging around and you're like, oh my God, I've been meaning to do this for months. I've been meaning to do this. I got an email on Friday from a client we've been messaging back and forth, and she said to me, Nikki, I need to do this because I need to get my shit together. And it's those sorts of things where you go, oh my goodness, I've actually got to do this. You've got to whack it in the frame. And then what you might find as well, going along this whack it in the frame analogy, is sometimes you need to change the frame. Sometimes you need to position it somewhere else. You need to think about those things. But until you get it up and running, until you do those things, you're not going to know. So if you are going, but I'm not ready to whack it in the frame, I've got so much to do, this is my next invitation for you. What are those things? What are those things that are going to help you move towards where you actually need to get to? Because there will be always something that you can do. There will be always something or someone that needs your attention. There'll always be new technology. There'll always be somebody who'll go, no, come over here. Come over here. There's this quick way of doing it. And all you've got to do is sit with the technology for like 6 hours and learn it and implement it. And then you can launch. There's always going to be these things. So get specific. If you know what you want to get, as in your outcomes at the end of it. So it might be like, I am going to set a money goal this week and see if I can generate whatever. I'm going to see if I can do this. I'm going to see if I can get 12 Instagram posts out there, whatever it might be. If you can quantify what that number is, and then think about those things that you need to do, the specific things that you need to do to be able to whack it in the frame. If you want to share anything here, you're more than welcome about accountability or what you're working on. I've got a new client starting with me today. And she sent me all her pre-work of what she wants to do and all of that sort of stuff, which is, I love this moment. It's really lovely. And she went, do you know what? Even saying that out loud, it makes it so much clearer. It makes it doable. It makes it realistic. It makes it less complicated because I can actually see the thing in front of me. I can actually read it on the paper or on the computer rather than be like, I gotta do this. Like, how many times at the moment are we spending in that headspace of we don't know what's happening? Am I in? Am I out? Are the schools open? All this sort of stuff. So where you can in your business, in order to get what you need to do, just write it down. Get a post-it note. I bet you've got loads of this is the thing, I'm going to throw it out there. I bet you've got loads of notebooks, like really nice notebooks, a stack of them. I have. They're all sitting on my desk. So use them. Don't wait for that perfect day. Start to write it down. So to recap, whack it in the frame. What is the thing that you want to whack in the frame this week? What does that end result look like? What is the outcome of that? And what is stopping you from whacking it in the frame? What are the things that you need to do? How could you do this in a way that feels really good? How could you do this in a less than perfect way? Because sometimes the first whack it in the frame, it's the equivalent of the first night, where sometimes you're like, at the end of the first night, you're like, actually, we need to move that because we can't have scenery falling on people's heads. That actually happened to me once when I was a child. A piece of scenery fell and I spent the whole scene, and I was dressed as Humpty Dumpty as well. I was holding the scenery up like this, and I was looking at all the dads at the side of the stage going, are you going to rescue this 9-year-old child who's holding up your scenery, or are we just all going to stand around? This is the thing. Me being proactive, me kind of getting stuff done now is who I was as a 7-year-old. Is like, right, Steve, Ian, come on, get on here, sort this out. Yeah, and I'm already seeing it. I mean, my daughter's only 14 months. I'm already seeing that in the way that she communicates. So I'm watching out for all of that. I hope you have a lovely day. DM me, let me know what you're going to do today. Share this with somebody who's in that loop of, I don't really know what I'm doing, who's enjoying, I'm going to throw it out there, maybe enjoying that process of like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just not making the progress that I want to. Oh, 2020, hey. Oh, I can't believe it's another Monday. All this small talk. We have it all the time. It becomes really addictive, doesn't it? We all want to talk about, oh gosh, it's nearly Christmas. Oh, I haven't done my shopping. Has anybody thought about Halloween? We've got to close this gender pay gap, kids. Like, we've got stuff to do. And that doesn't involve that kind of other chat. Anyway, before I go off on one, whack it in the frame. Whack it in the frame. What do you need to whack in? No euphemism required. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. If you want any free other masterclasses, you can go to my website. If you want to book a free 15-minute call with me, I'm here. I'm taking on new clients in November. Yeah. Exciting times. Thank you. I'm sending you lots of love. And I've got energy today. I've done an M&S shot this morning. I don't know why I've got energy, but if you need to take some of that, I'm sending it to you as well. Lots of love. See you soon. Bye.